Hi there! Today I'll be using the oil pastels to draw a flower. Okay, so first the tools. That's a masonite board, and I have used the black gesso to prime the surface. And I have also used a white color pencil to outline the drawing, which is already done. That's the oil pastel set. That's the brand name. You don't have to use the same brand, but it's a nice oil pastel set. Oil pastels are very similar to crayons, but it's thicker, stickier, and richer, so you can achieve more layers and more brilliant colors. I also have some Q-tips and a blending stump to blend the tones. Okay, so the first thing I would like to do here is to apply some base tones. For opaque colors, oil pastels are opaque. It's usually better that you start from the shadow tones first. Take a look at this petal, for example. That would be the shadow tone, and this would be the light tone. You want to apply the shadow tone here first, and then apply the light tone later, and eventually you want to blend them together to achieve nice gradation. So this would be the white rose with yellow inside, so I will be using gray and yellow ochre for the shadow tone areas. You can use your finger to blend the tone to get rid of the graininess. Apply some yellow ochre and move around the pastel on top of the surface. I'll be eventually rendering the entire thing, but for now, let me just go ahead and work on these three petals to show you the procedure of how you can get started with the shadow tones first and then going to the light tones later. Okay, so I'm now using a white pastel to go over the light tone areas. Sometimes you end up going over the outlines, but let's not worry so much about that. Even if you like to keep the background black like this, you can always use the black oil pastel or black gesso to go over the black areas to, make it nice. So don't worry so much about that, even if you get the tones smeared into that background area. Blending stumps are really helpful for the edges. You can make the edge nice and crisp. Okay, so that will be the base tone. Let me just go ahead and do the same on all other areas. The soft edge and the hard edge, the control there is very important. So this area, for example, you want to keep a nice crisp edge here on this side. Okay, this side is crisp and the other side is soft, so it's gradation. So for the crisp edge, you can always use a blending stump and just keep the edge nice and crisp like that. You can always try using the corner of the oil pastel too. Use the corner and color it in nice and crisp, and then you can apply the blending stump to achieve a nice crisp edge. Okay, this side is crisp and the other side is soft, so you can use your finger or a Q-tip. And in circular motion like that, you can achieve a nice soft gradation. Like that. Okay, so I'm roughly about 1 hour into my drawing, and as you can see, I have a very nice foundation already. Let's take a closer look. So as you go closer, you can tell that graininess, that's all gone. I mean, the foundation is already there. I have smeared the pastel like well into the surface, so the graininess is all gone. From this point on, I'll be defining the light and shadow pattern a little bit further, and then I'll be working on the details. Okay, so let's start defining the light and shadow pattern in the center here, including some of the edges, try to make the edges nice and crisp, and try to achieve a little more contrast there. Okay, so as you can see, I have added some nice line details. Now I am going to start indicating some of the raindrops that are on the flower. Okay, so let me show you how to do that with this area. I'll be using gray for the shadow tones and then white for the light tones. If you need your line indications to be a little more crisp, you can always try using this side of the oil pastel instead of that side. This side is round and this side is edgy. You can always use this side as well. As usual, I'm starting with the shadow tone first. Nice bright highlight there. There we go. That was pretty easy, right? It took me about 1 minute. Let me do another one. Try softening the tone. Okay. Try to keep the foam shadow nice and soft. This is foam shadow. Foam shadow is on a foam, in this case the foam of the water drop. And then this would be the cast shadow. Cast shadow is somewhat crisp. Sometimes it can be soft, but it is usually more crisp than the foam shadow. So, foam shadow and cast shadow, and then the highlight in here. Nice bright highlight. How is that? That looks good, eh? Let's go ahead and indicate some more and I'll call it finished. There you go. So let me just go ahead and do this on other areas and I call it finished. Let's take a very final look at the drawing. As you can see, I have added a little more detail to the work. Detail, in fact, is the hardest thing to do for the oil pastel drawing. You will have to use the corners of these oil pastels. They are not as fine as the pencils, so you're going to have to do it patiently and carefully. You can always use the blending stump like that to try to get the detail as fine as possible. You can also use the Q-tips for blending some small areas. The color layering also is very important. I mean, I only have 25 colors here and that's limited. So I have to use multiple colors and blend them on the surface to get the color I want, which is much easier with paint. It can be time consuming, but be patient and experiment and see what you can do with it. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you again soon.